Buenos días, soy la señora Wharton. Nuevamente estamos juntos en una nueva clase de español. ¿Cómo están? Muy bien, más o menos mal. Espero que sea muy bien. Okay? After this, we are going to listen our Buenos Dias song. Remember our famous Buenos Dias song, so you can practice. So hang on in there. And
Buenos días,
¿cómo estás? Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted?
good, nice. Ready, one more time, loosen it up. And
Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted?
now we're gonna go a little bit faster. You guys ready? Here we go. And
Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted?
Now we're gonna do it really, really quiet. Watch my friends do it quiet.
Buenos días,
Buenos días,
¿cómo estás? Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted?
pick it up, 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 pick it up. Everybody get up.
Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted? Hoy vamos a practicar los números del 0 al 30 because we will need it for this lesson. Hoy vamos a repasar, review that time. I really want you to learn to say the time in Espanol. So we need to review, and know the third and fourth graders. We didn't review this yet, but this is going to be a good lesson for you to review. First, we need to go over our review. ¿Qué fecha es hoy? What date is today? Hoy es, whatever is the answer, I want you to think at home. What is the date today? ¿Qué fecha es hoy? Hoy es so and so. Think about it so you can get the answer ready. Ayer means yesterday was. Ayer fue so and so. Mañana será means tomorrow will be. Mañana será is tomorrow will be. So what are the answers? Hoy es miércoles 13 de mayo de el 2020. Hoy es miércoles 13 de mayo del 2020. Ayer fue martes 12 de mayo del 2020. Mañana, tomorrow, mañana será jueves 14 de mayo del 2020. Vamos a revisar los números because we will need it for this lesson once again. And at home, I want you to repeat after me. Repitan después que yo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is supposed to have an acento, but I didn't do it. Remember over here I couldn't do it because of my computer. I don't know how to put the acentos. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. ¿Qué número es este? 13. ¿Qué número es este? 19. ¿Qué número es este? 21. ¿Qué número es este? 28. ¿Qué número es este? 10. Remember, after the 20, después del 20, you're going to add you said 20, and then you add all the second number uno. So you say 21, 22, but it's one word. Remember, we said it's a compound word, two words together, dos palabras juntas. But when you get to 30 and up, you're going to use separated words. So you will say 31. Okay? Very good. You can keep practicing at home. In fact, I will send you a worksheet that you can practice your numbers and write in the number. You need to keep practicing so you don't lose all the practice that we had from before. I am also going to send you another worksheet with a practice for the la hora, the time that we are going to practice today. Okay, moving on. Oops, what happened here? Okay, so this is our vocabulary for la hora. La hora means the time. The first thing we need to know is, how do we say what time is in Espanol? What time is it? How do we say that in Espanol? We said, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? And then I will tell you how the rest. So what time is it? ¿Qué hora es? Okay? The first thing that you need to remember is that when it's 1 o'clock, like this, 1 o'clock, is the only time that you're going to use singular. The verb ser will be in singular because it's 1. So you're going to say es la una. Es la una. And o'clock, you're going to say en punto. So how do we say the whole sentence? Es la una en punto. Okay? So again, it's the only time that you're going to use the verb in singular form. Es. And the rest of the time, from 2 all the way to 12 o'clock, you are going to use plural form for the verb. You're going to say son las dos. Son las dos en punto. Son las 3 en punto. Son las 4 en punto. Son las 5 en punto. Son las 6 en punto. And you're going to do like this all the way to 12. We are going to go over all the other. So again, let's review this part. 1 o'clock, you said es la una en punto, singular. And all the rest from 2 o'clock all the way to 12 o'clock, you are going to use son because it's plural. Son las dos en punto, son las 3 en punto, and so on. That's one part of the vocabulary we are going to be practicing. Okay, now that's o'clock. Now let's practice this part. I want you to at home tell me qué hora es. ¿Qué hora es? Again, you use son. So you said son las 6 en punto. I will give you a little time to think about it. ¿Qué hora es? If you say son las 7 en punto, you are correct. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8 en punto. ¿Qué hora es? If you said son las 9:00, you are correct. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 10:00. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 11:00. Y over here, you said son las 12:00. Now remember, the other part of our vocabulary is this time it could be noon, son las 12:00. At this time will be noon. How do we say noon in español? You will say es mediodía. Noon, it will be mediodía. So if I ask you, ¿qué hora es at this time? And it's 12 o'clock. You can say son las 12:00 de la tarde. Remember, tarde is the evening, afternoon. Or you can say es mediodía. Es el mediodía. Now, if it's in the midnight en español, you say medianoche. Es medianoche, or you can say es la medianoche. So in the nighttime, midnight, you will say medianoche. So if I say ¿qué hora es? And it's midnight, you will say es la medianoche. Okay, es la medianoche, which is midnight. Okay, midnight. That's part of the book. That's all the vocabulary. So if I say ¿qué hora es? And I say es a.m., which will be midnight, you are going to say es la medianoche. Now if I say ¿qué hora es? And it's at this time noon, you will say es el mediodía. Okay? We will be practicing this. Now, one more time. We are only going to do o'clock en punto in half hour, which is media hora. So from here to here is media hora, yeah? Media hora means half hour. How do we say half hour in español? Media hora, media hora. So you will say, in this case, ¿qué hora es? You will say, son las 12 y in between, over here is the example, son las 12:30. Media means half. So you will say, ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? You will say, son las 12:30. Now remember, from here to here is 5. You're counting by 5. So you said 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Okay, so 1 hour is 60 minutos. Okay, let's move on. This is what I was talking. We don't have los minuteros ni la hora, pero when so over here you're going to say es la una. And it doesn't say here. You actually, in español, you don't need to say o'clock. You can just say es la una. But I want you to learn the whole sentence so you know what you're saying. Es la una en punto. When the hour is here and the minute is here, you say es la una en punto. Son las 2 en punto. Son las 3 en punto. Son las 4 en punto. Son las 5 en punto. Son las 6 en punto. Son las 7 en punto. Son las 8 en punto. Son las 9 en punto. Son las 10 en punto. Son las 11 en punto. And over here, you can say, when both of the handles are here, then you will say es mediodía. I just said that, noon. O es medianoche, okay? In the midnight. Let's move on. Okay, let's practice. I forgot to tell you that you need paper and pencil. So quickly get a pencil and paper. In the meantime, I will be asking questions. Please get paper and pencil so you can do this, and then I will give you the answer, see if you get it right. I'll give you 1 minute to go and get paper and pencil. Please get that quickly so we can do this. You can actually pause your video when you're washing and go get paper and pencil and do this, okay? So how do we say, I'm not going to show you the answer. Okay, so you're going to write on your paper the digit answer, yeah? This is the word, but I want you to say the digit, okay? I will say, es la una en punto. I want you to write it down with numbers, what time is, qué hora es la una en punto. Write it down. Número uno, es la una en punto. Write it down. Next. Son las 6 en punto. Son las 6 en punto. Write your answers down. Son las 9 en punto. Son las 9 en punto. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 9 en punto. Write it down. Again, you're writing your numbers, your digit number, time. Next one. Son las 12 en punto. Son las 12 en punto. Or I can say, es medianoche or es el mediodía. Write your answers down. Next one. Son las 2 en punto. Son las 2 en punto. Write it down. Son las 2 en punto. Next, próxima. Son las 10 en punto. Son las 10 en punto. Write it down. Son las 10 en punto. Muy bien. Now we are going to do half hour. The same time, but half hour. How do we write it down as with number? Es la 1:30. Remember, this means is half hour. Y media means half hour. Es la 1:30. Es la 1:30. Son las 6:30. How do you write that down? Son las 6:30. Let me give you the example so you can see. Son las 6:30. I'm giving you that for free. 6:30. That's how you say it. 6:30. Next one. Son las 9:30. Son las 9:30. Son las 9:30. Write it down. Son las 12:30. Son las 12:30. Write it down. Last one. La última. Son las 10:30. Son las 10:30. Write it down, and I hope that you wrote all your answer, because now I'm going to give you the answer for all of this, and I want you to see how did you do? Did you get all correct? Oh my gosh, you are going to be eligible for a national body when we get back to our school. That's the answer. Es la 1 en punto. Son las 6 en punto. Son las 9 en punto. Son las 12 en punto. Or it could be es medianoche o es mediodía. Son las 2 en punto. Son las 2 en punto. Son las 10 en punto. Son las 10 en punto. Now we will do the half hour, media hora. Es la 1:30. You actually can say es la 1:30, but usually is more popular to say in half hour. So es la 1:30. Son las 6:30. Son las 6:30. Son las 9:30. Son las 9:30. Son las 12:30. Son las 12:30. Son las 2:30. Son las 2:30. Son las 10:30. Son las 10:30. I hope that you got all correct. You can let me know. You can email me if you got. But again, you're going to get a worksheet and I will post it with the video so you can do practice on that la hora, the time. Okay, I want you to write with words your answer. I will put it this way, and you are going to say what time it is with word. I'm going to send you another worksheet with the numbers so you can in the vocabulary so you can write down your answer. Moving on. Okay, so again, this is the final, but I want to, before that, I want you to keep practicing. Okay, before we say bye to each other, I'm going to ask you some questions. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? If you say son las 6 en punto, you are correct. Son las 6 en punto. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? If you say es la 1 en punto, you are correct. Remember, singular es. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? If you said son las 3 en punto, you are correct. Son las 3 en punto, you are correct. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? If you say son las 5 en punto, you are correct. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 7 en punto. Now let's do half hour. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora? Do you remember? Son las 8:30. Son las 8:30. Son las 8:30. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 10:30. Son las 10:30. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 11:30. Son las 11:30. Once again, ¿qué hora es? Singular. Es la 1:30. Es la 1:30. Okay? And that will be it for today. Again, I will send your worksheet so you can do it by email. I'll send it to your parents, and so practice la hora. You're going to write with word your answer, and so you can practice at home. Practice los números. I'll send you a worksheet to write los números with word. And I hope that you enjoyed this lesson in la hora. Keep practicing with your family. Tell them qué hora es. During the time, say son las, es las. Por favor, keep practicing. I love you, los amo mucho, and I miss you so much. I know we will be together soon, and I just miss you, and I can't wait until I am teaching you person to person. Love you, los amo. Ciao.